really proud to work with all of these individuals in here, and there's a few individuals who I don't directly work with, and I'm also proud of the work that you do. But it reminds me, and this is a little bit blurry, but last year we groomed over 18,000 miles of trail, and I started thinking, like, how can I put that in perspective at the end of last season? I'm like, I'm looking on Google Earth, and I'll see how far from the Methow something is. And if you went to the South Pole and back from where we're standing now, that's a little bit under the amount that these individuals, plus a few others, and that's incredible. There's another group of people who did a similar journey. And this was the advertisement that they made in the paper to get these individuals to come. And actually, the response was amazing. But it says, men wanted, if you can't read it, for hazardous journeys, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success. Does anyone know what that's from? It says right there, Shackleton's expedition to the South Pole. So they all survived miraculously. It's an unbelievable story that I won't tell anymore of. But I did start to thinking about, again, how proud of this team I am. And if I was to create my own ad in the Methow Valley News, what would it say? And it would say something like this: groomers wanted for unexpected journey, okay wages, bitter cold, long shifts in complete darkness, constant focus, honor and recognition. With the exception of what we just did a few minutes ago. So really, these guys and gals have a job that's unbelievably tough, and if you get an opportunity to see a few of the individuals with the name tag, ask them about what they experience each evening. But let's get into some of these numbers that tell the story of these artists and the art that they do. So we have 120 miles of trail, and that's the number that you hear a lot in our marketing materials. But really how we think when we're out there grooming is in terms of inches. And they're the inches that we can control, right? The inches that we can control are the inches once the snow has hit the ground, not all the forecasts and the hubbub about El Nino, La Nina, whatever we're going to have. It's once it hits the ground, how are we focusing on that? And even before the snow comes, how are we focusing on every single inch so that we can maximize every snowflake and facet that Brad was talking about. This is the level that our groomers are looking at. Anybody recognize that? Silver beans earlier. It's the South Pole. Yeah, and that's the mileage that was accomplished last year. Pretty cool. What's the cost? How much does it cost to do this? Our groomers are these sexy machines that you don't really see ever unless you happen to be skiing late at night, or you get lucky enough to ride in one of them. But $200 per hour is the cost, which includes everything. So fuel, groomer salary, insurance, everything. That comes down to about $25 per mile. So think about ski passes or daily tickets. It kind of puts that number in perspective a little bit. All our hard work each year allows us to have on average about 100 plus days per year of skiing, which is pretty incredible when you think about the last couple years and the snow that our country in general and this region has had. It's because of the prep work that we've done, and it's because of our focus on the inches that are on the ground and maximizing every snowflake that we do have. We are able to provide this. We've been refining it for 39 years. I'm late on the job. I'm building on top of work that's been done by incredible people and snow folks here in the valley, and I'm fortunate to be a pretty active part of it. What do we need to open the trails? We need 24 inches to open everything. And this is a great picture because it illustrates what about 24 inches looks like before we groom it, and then what it looks like after we groom it. And that 24 inches, with all that mechanical compressing, gets down to about 6 inches of snow on top of whatever surface is underneath. So really to groom everything, to open everything, that's what we need. 18 inches of snow is really the minimum that we like to have to bring our cats out onto the trails. And you can see why. This yellow thing here is spinning really fast. And that's the tiller in the back of the cat. These grousers here, or the aluminum part of the tracks there, those are also spinning really fast. We don't want to hit obstacles, because if we hit an obstacle, the machine's going to be down unless Ed can work some magic on it as our mechanic. But that's a magic number for us to get that heavy grooming equipment out there. By the numbers, again, we're kind of working our way down. 12 a.m. is the time that an average grooming shift starts. And this is a photo that Ed Stockard took up at Sun Mountain Lodge. And there it was a full moon? We're close to it. Full moon with the northern lights in the background. Incredible, the kind of stuff that you see out there when you have this special time out in the middle of the night. Our shifts end at 8:30 a.m. We try to be off the snow at latest with our heavy grooming equipment by then. 10:30 for some of the lighter grooming equipment. In the springtime, we groom later, earlier in the day, and we head out there for the same amount of shifts, 4 to 8, 10-hour shifts depending on conditions. But we'll go out just after dinner or just after light. To try to take advantage of that magical hour or two where the snow is, we're able to craft it exactly like we want it, but it's not too soft, where we have isotemperature snow, right, Brad?
Isothermal.
Isothermal, thank you. And we're not falling through it, but we're also not having to do 3 or 4 passes to get a good product, because it's so dang hard. 8 miles per hour is the average speed, and that might sound slow if you drove here tonight at 60 miles per hour, but it's actually pretty fast. If you do some quick calculations, what that comes down to, again, with how we think, that's 140 inches per second. And if you're grooming by the inch, a second goes by, and you've gone to here, and you just messed up everything. Because you had your blade too low, or you had your tiller spinning too fast, and you got to back it up and fix it all. So it's really pretty fast, and then especially when you think about obstacles like the suspension bridge, where your margin of error on either end is about 1/2 inch. It's pretty fast. 6 inches, this one's a little bit harder to see with the lights here, but this is our ATV with the tracks and a roller on the back. This is the minimum amount on average that we need to start packing snow. So if you're thinking about when are they going to open that trail, 6 inches is a good start for us to not be breaking equipment with this lighter ATVs or snowmobiles. Moving down, 5 trailheads, we have 5 grooming stations with major equipment that are positioned at it. This is a town trailhead. 4 groomers per night, and this is Mike Pruitt, who's sitting over here. He's all bundled up. It's a really neat community of folks who are out there. And up until a few years ago, some of them had never really met each other or ever seen each other. But now, with texts especially, there's in radios some redundant communication. There's some really neat conversations that go on through the night about, hey, what are you doing? How's it working? There's a lot of camaraderie with these guys and gals. This is an important number for us, 3 inches of cut. And I talked about the grousers. These are these aluminum things here. Those are 3 inches. And then, you can't quite see it, but there's teeth on this tiller, the thing that was spinning really fast in that last picture. Those are also 3 inches. And when you think about 24 inches to open up everything, it's pressed down to 6. And then you've got 3 inches spinning really fast. On top of that, there's really not that much margin of error before you start bringing up dirt or you start really damaging equipment. So occasionally when you'll be grooming, you'll hear like what sounds like someone with shackles behind you, and you'll look in your rearview mirror and you'll see sparks. That's not a good sign. The tiller is usually hitting some rocks, and you're going to be bringing up dirt, and then hopefully can do something to fix that. 2 inches, does anyone know what this is? Yeah, and so Tibetan monks, they make these things called mandalas, I think they're called. There's these sand paintings where they scratch sand. And it was a great relationship for me with the amount of snow it takes to really make all of your work irrelevant and basically do what this guy's doing. He spent a long time, and his crew has spent a long time creating this. And 2 inches is really all you need, or a brush to really just wipe out a perfect day. There's a lot of unbelievable masterpieces that groomers have created that no one has ever seen and no one has ever seen. And this picture just reminded me of that. 1 hour to set up, that's what we need, and this is a spring day out on Gun Ranch Road, but it's like a warm cookie coming out of the oven. It tastes really good when you first get on it, if you're that first person who's skiing right behind the cat, but you're the only person that's enjoying that cookie if we don't have a chance to let it set up for at least an hour. So that's why we try to get the cats back in at 8:30. The majority of people, 80% of the skiers who are out there, are skiing from 10 to 2. Why do we do it? All these smiling faces here. And that's the reward for a lot of the folks who are out there. And for me in particular, as I see a room full of really happy folks all throughout the season. And Kristen does a great job of capturing all these faces. So that's my bit. Quick numbers. I'm always happy to talk to people more in depth about any of this stuff. I'm going to introduce